What's up? Welcome into your Daily Buckeye Blitz for Thursday. You know it's a thirsty Thursday here. June 27, 2024. Plowing through a week. I'm finally getting ahead of the game, trying to get these shows out early in the morning for you guys. So we're doing it. We're moving ahead. I'm done putting together furniture. Spectrum has cooperated for 2 days in a row now, so that's a bonus. And we're just moving forward, plowing away. So please, if you're watching on YouTube, please hit like and make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you get nuts, hit the bell. You get notified every time a new video comes out or if we go live. I think Friday we'll do another live show. It's been a few weeks since I was dealing with the move and everything else. I had to take some time off from the live shows, but this Friday, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, we will be back. Jeff and Sean will be back in a couple weeks. We'll restart the Sunday night shows. Those are at 7:30 p.m. Eastern. I think we'll start that the week after 4th of July weekend. Yeah, like the middle of July, something like that. So I'll let you know, but just wanted to update you on that. Live show tomorrow, 4:30 p.m. Eastern, Friday. All right, let's do this. So with the content kind of being slow this time of year, I got to get creative, right? And that's good because I like being creative as far as cranking out content. So this is a question. It is a question because I'm framing it that way. How many shutouts will the Ohio State defense have in 2024? You're welcome to drop your opinion in the comments. I'm going to go through and tell you why. I've got five shutouts in 2024. So let's get to it. All right. Now, the last shutouts, we do not shut teams out much. I did some research. I went back over the last 10 years. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 shutouts over the last 10 years. 2019 was the most recent. That's been 5 years, man. Versus Cincinnati. 2017 versus Rutgers. 2016 versus Rutgers. 2015 versus Hawaii. And then 2014, Kent State. And, of course, Wisconsin in the Big Ten championship game. They had no idea what was coming, 59-0. So on our way to the national championship. So just five instances of shutouts in 10 years. That's crazy. It's mind-blowing. I tried to find records, like the most shutouts in a season. Nobody has it. Like Oklahoma had like 22 over like a 4-year stretch. Tennessee had like 47 consecutive shutouts back in the 1940s or something. So that doesn't count. I'm looking for like modern era football, like last 40, 50 years. Can't find it. So anyway, we don't shut a lot of teams out. We play actually a decent schedule year in, year out for the most part. But this year is one of those down years as far as the schedule goes. I will not argue that fact. But with the most of the defense coming back, plus the addition of Caleb Downs, this defense is going to be ridiculous. In 2023, Ohio State ranked in opponent points per game. Ohio State was second in the country, right behind the Cheaters. They were at 10.4. We were at 11.6. Then in a distant third was Penn State at 14. Iowa was behind them at 14.8. So, yeah, they play defense in the Big Ten, in case you didn't know. Not just in points per game, but we had the best pass defense in the country in 2023. That's going to continue into 2024. You're bringing back Denzel Burke, Davison Igbinosun, Lathan Ransom is healthy. Then, like I mentioned, the addition of Caleb Downs plus the D-line is all returning. So teams are not going to be able to throw or run or anything against this defense. So I believe the Buckeyes are going to lead the country in points per game this year. I've got it pegged at like a 10, maybe a little less, maybe a 9.5-er. So let's go through each of these teams, and I'll tell you where I see the shutouts coming. Again, 5 of them in 1 year. That's got to be some kind of record. So, we got Penn State Oregon, and the Cheaters on the schedule. I think you can go ahead, even though I would love to shut any and all of those three down, shut them out. I don't think that's likely. Those are the best three opponents we're going to play, regardless of who they've lost and who they brought back. I think those three teams are the least likely to get shut out. So I'm taking them out of the equation completely. So, like, for example, last season, the Knits averaged 36 points a game. We only gave up 12. So they're going to score. You know, you're not going to shut them out. But so who are the shutout candidates for me? I got 7 teams on Ohio State's 2024 schedule that were ranked worse than 100th in points scored per game last season. Worse than 100th. Akron, Marshall, Michigan State, Iowa, Nebraska, Northwestern, and Indiana all were below 100th in the country in points per game. Yeah, read that list off again. Akron, Marshall, Michigan State, Iowa, Nebraska, Northwestern, Indiana. Not a surprise, right? Not exactly offensive juggernauts. Then you got 2 more teams here that make up my 9 candidates. They were ranked 87th and 90th in points per game in the country last year. That is Purdue and Western Michigan. So that's our 9. So Ohio State should hold those 9 teams to a touchdown or less in each game. So I feel the Silver Bullets have a good chance of holding them all scoreless. But let's dig into. We'll go in chronological order here. Starting week 1, Akron. That's an obvious shutout candidate, right? Right. Last year they were 130th in points per game in the country. That's almost dead freaking last. DFL. They had 1 shutout versus Miami of Ohio last year, and they only scored a field goal against Kentucky last year. That was one of their few Power 5 opponents. And then returning production, Akron's only ranked 113th on offense this year. That doesn't bode well. So they averaged 16.3 points per game last year, barely getting over 2 touchdowns. So that's my first shutout for the Buckeyes. Week 1 started off with a bang. That's what she said. All right, week 2, Western Michigan, another easy candidate. Now, these guys were 90th in the country last year in points per game. They had a shutout by Northern Illinois, and they put up only 7 against Syracuse. That was one of their Power 5 opponents. So does not look good for the directional Michigan. They had an average of 23.7 last year points per game, but they still had that 1 shutout by Northern Illinois, a MAC opponent. So I think that's shutout number 2. Shutout number 3, I got Marshall. They were shut out once last year by South Alabama. I don't know. Not the real Alabama. But anyways, then they were held under 10 points 3 times last year. So they were 103rd in the country in points per game at 22.8 last year, again, with a soft schedule. Then, so that's shutout number 3. That's 3 weeks in a row, 3 shutouts in a row. Week 4 continues the streak. September 28th, Michigan State. They were 103rd in points per game last year. They averaged 15.9 per game. And I'm sorry, they were 131st. They're bringing back the returning production is 103rd in the country. They had 2 shutouts against the Cheaters and Penn State last year. They were held under 10 4 times. Yikes. I know they got the new staff, new quarterback coming with the new staff over. I don't know if that's going to be enough by week 4. So then so that's my 4 in a row, 4 shutouts in a row. Iowa comes in week 5. They had 3 shutouts. They were shut out 3 times last year versus the Cheaters, Penn State, and Tennessee in the bowl game. They were 132nd in the country in points per game last year. But I don't think we hold them to a shutout. I don't think so. They averaged 15.4 last year per game. But I think we hold them under 10. That's for sure. That's for sure. Oregon, 0 shutouts last year. Again, I don't plan on shutting them out. They were second in the country in points per game at 44.2. And they got Dylan Gabriel. I almost said ravioli. Then Nebraska, I don't think this will be a shutout. They were not shut out at all last year. They scored 7. They were held to 7 just once. They were 123rd in the country in points per game. They scored 18 per game last year. Penn State, I don't think we shut them out. They were not shut out last year. They were held to 12 by us and 15 by the Cheaters. So, again, they averaged 36 points a game last year. That was 12th in the country. Now, Purdue, this is one of my possible shutout candidates. 0 shutouts last year. We held them to 7. They averaged 23.9 points per game, 87th in the country in points per game. And their returning production on offense is 82nd in the country. That's not going to bode well. So we'll see if their quarterback can move the chains. I kind of doubt it. Not enough to get in the end zone. So my next team here is Northwestern. It's a coin flip here. Purdue or Northwestern. One of them is the 5th shutout. Northwestern was 106th in points per game last year. They scored 22.1. They weren't shut out at all last year, but they were held under 10 3 times. So they have some decent returning production, but I think it's either Purdue or Northwestern. I can't call it. I would lean Northwestern, but that game's in Wrigley Field, so it's going to be a weird game. I don't know. If you run through the outfield wall, is that a touchdown? I don't know. We'll figure it out. And then finishing up, Indiana, I don't think we will shut them out. They were 105th in points per game last year. They scored 22.2, but they were not shut out. They were held under 8 points 2 times, but they have a 74th ranked returning production on offense. I think we'll probably be resting some dudes to gear up for the Cheaters the following week. So I could see them getting in the end zone. Now, the Cheaters coming up, last game of the year, of course, right after Thanksgiving. They were not shut out at all, obviously, last year. But their returning production is ranked 132nd on offense in the country. 132nd ranked offensive returning production. That does not sound good. They're replacing like the entire O-line. Quarterback, obviously. They got 1 running back coming back. Does it matter what they have at receiver? I don't think so. Loveland, the tight end, is back, but I don't think we shut them out. But so they're off the board. So my 5 shutouts are Akron, Western Michigan, Marshall, Sparty, and then flip a coin between Purdue and Northwestern. I think I've earned a little latitude there with 5 shutouts in one season. That seems to be some kind of record. So let me know what you guys think. Hit me in the comments. How many shutouts do you see? Do you see more? Do you see less? Let me know. That's all I got for you today. Talk to you tomorrow. Go Bucks.